I was going to do a video, but I'm not going to have a chance to, on the spiritualist movement. Every time I start digging through that stuff, it's so fascinating to me. It just goes on and on, such deep stuff. And how it connects to the Illuminati, not how it just connects to the Illuminati, how it's part of the Illuminati, and how it was brought here from Europe. And it's very interesting. It's all sprung from the idea of doing the video from talking about the Kellogg's Company. Yes, the Kellogg's Food Company. Also, the Kellogg Brown and Root, which is part of Halliburton, right? Halliburton, you know that company. And they're being compromised as part of 9/11. You know, Kellogg's is a big eugenics family back in the day, which it still amazes me why anybody would be feeding their children Kellogg's anything, whether it's cereal or any of their other products. Don't feed your children Kellogg's, period. I mean, cereal's really not good for the kids. And I know we're always saying, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't. And, you know, we're all going to die, so we'll eat something. But Kellogg's, man, you won't find a Kellogg's product in my house. And if there is, it was somehow a mistake. I won't. I don't touch that crap. Will not touch it. A food company and eugenics, the two don't go together. Not only that, is General William Kellogg's even experimented. He was a doctor with pouring some kind of acid or something on a woman's clitoris so that they can depress sexual arousement, and doing other experiments on boys, young boys too. Where have we heard that before? Huh? Funny how, there's companies out there that are still around today that have literally been involved in this stuff forever. And it's like, no big deal. And I'm going to even tie in how Kellogg's, not even too long ago, as part of all this bull crap, as far as the spiritualist movement and everything else, they are tied to false flags and some other things. Okay, just shady people. Okay, shady. But so they're going to be tied in with the spiritualist movement, and some of the shady things that were going on there in Michigan. You got to remember, MK Ultra is nothing new. You got to remember, more like the eugenics families and their cultist, spiritualist behaviors are. They're always been like their MK Ultra program, just whatever. They may have not really had a name for it. They just did this stuff. It was eugenics back then. Now it's MK Ultra or whatever else. So these people, they just disturb me. But what I wanted to show you tonight is because it's actually going to tie into the spiritualist movement and how some of these families are still doing things today through their cult-like activities. Okay? just so much. I was reading over some of it tonight, and I really want to just get into it, but it's just so much. It's got to be taken step by step, or else it's going to have people all over the place. So we'll get into that tomorrow. But the reason why I want to show you a video, and here's the amazing thing, it was from Alex Jones, right? And I'm by no means whatsoever promoting Alex Jones. Don't like Alex Jones. I know he's a shill. But just like all the other shills, we know every once in a while they give a little bit of truth. The reason why I happened to watch this one is I saw that Jan Irving was on his show, and we saw how Jan has been making this big Christian turn, and how he's been shilling a lot lately. He's been going down some of these shill roads, and you're like, what the hell's going on with him? I don't know if it's personal, or he's just totally selling out, or he's totally controlled. He, even in the show, they stated how he had a handler in the past. So, my feeling is once you have a handler, you're compromised forever. That's it. Boom. You had a handler. Period. That makes you one of them. And Alex Jones, they give you truth, and the way he says the truth is to put it out there in a way that sounds so freaking crazy nobody would ever believe it. That's why they put it out there through somebody like him. Okay? And it's important, though, what he says is actually truth. Okay? And I'm going to show the video real quick, and then I'm going to come back on and delete the video real quick so that it doesn't slow down the rest of what I got recording here. So I'm going to switch over and just show it to you. Take a quick listen. You don't have to watch him or anything. You can close your eyes and just listen. But listen to what he has to say, because we're going to discuss it, and it's kind of important.
I'm going ahead and laying out all the cards here on the table, okay? I mean, I haven't told you everything, folks, but the occultists tried to recruit me early. I mean, like 12 years old, over and over again. It was like devil's advocate. Every time I turned around, they were trying to recruit me. And I don't mean some meth heads or something. I mean rich people, powerful people, you name it. Because they all know there's these abilities. They have little bitty abilities. I have huge abilities. A lot of you have giant abilities. And they're trying to see who's got it and recruit them because they want to understand how to be God at this level when you're already part of God and don't need to even do that. So, Jan, I've been ranting here. You go ahead and take over with whatever you want to get into. And when we go a little bit in the next hour, I'll push our guest host, Mike Adams, back because I've been butting in. But this is about me, too, and this is about you. So that's why I'm sharing all this, and it's really hardcore. But let me ask this question. You can cover whatever you want. From your experience, people need to know, though, how dangerous DMT and ayahuasca is. And, again, just at a temporal level, there's cults everywhere using this stuff now, and the media is hyping it so these cults get set up, and there's usually a globalist or corporate group behind protecting them. I mean, it's illegal to put 1,000 or 2,000 people a year, mainly wealthy people they target, on hallucinogenic, super hardcore drugs, and then do this inside the United States. This is being protected by the system. And just at a temporal political level, there is an attempt to get the decision makers in every town in a cult.
Okay, very important what he just said there. Very important what he just said. Okay? One, there are corporations behind this stuff. Like we said, Kellogg's did experiments through one of their subsidiaries. They even been caught putting uranium and testing it on poor people's food. Okay? Corporations are behind them. That's very important to understand, and he's telling the truth. Okay? 2, this cult activity where they want to get the people running these cities and towns all part of their cult. And they use these different drugs, but methamphetamine is actually one of the major ones they're using throughout certain areas. So a lot of these people that you see in positions like prosecutors, judges, police officers, police chiefs, mayors, they've all been compromised via drugs and child sex. It's not a joke. I know it comes out through so many different channels in such a way that it sounds so ridiculous that you have to say, whoa, wait a second, this can't be happening. But if you're looking at a mid-sized to a city, mid-sized city to a large city, anything with a decent-sized population, those cities are already under control by their cult people that they put into place. You may have a choice, but did you really ever, you live in a mid-sized city, you ever investigate where this Democrat that you voted for came from or this Republican came from? They're there. Do you know their history? I've found out from digging into the stuff, they're tied to drugs, all right? And they all are little child rapers. There's no joke about that. He puts it out there in such a crazy manner that nobody's ever going to believe it. But it is a reality. Your tiny little towns, stuff like that, they don't really bother with. They need to control the major population areas. And I'm sure sooner or later they will get to the smaller areas. And there may be even some smaller areas where this has happened. But you're really looking at a situation where your mid-sized to large cities are already, or large populated areas, if they're closer populated areas, are already controlled like this. But the reason why I wanted to bring that in is because it's going to tie in with the corporations and the spiritualist movement and the Illuminati and who they really are, because that's what it is. These different governmental bodies are backed up by these corporations. The corporations run our intelligence services like they're their little tools. Okay? Scary situation. They've been experimenting. Just talked about it, Kellogg's. We also have Kellogg's Brown and Root, part of Halliburton. Okay, that connection goes way back, John. William Kellogg was friends with Halliburton. Okay, so this goes way back, their connection to Halliburton. It's nothing new, okay? They've been experimenting on people, and it sounds crazy. It is, sounds crazy to me even when I repeat it. But I've done enough research, dug in deep to realize that they're really doing this. I dug, that's why they really came after me, because I dug deep. It's scary, but there are ways we can beat them, okay? Now, I was discussing a little bit about the psychology of some of these people. If you're ever in contact with these people, okay, because they are compromised people, their focus is only that objective. If they were part of a false flag, that plan is they going along with that. Nothing's going to change that. I got to go along with the plan because they have no choice. But you could break them by getting in their face and you forgetting about the situation, getting in their face and, hey, you little pervert. You like to touch little kids, don't you, you little pervert? Huh? How do you live with yourself touching kids? Why'd you touch those kids? What's wrong with you, little pervert? You got to get tough with them. You know what I mean? That's how you break them. You got to push them back into that trauma that they suffered, that they were put through, so that those psychologists came in and tweaked their minds. You got to put them back into that, that original trauma. And that trauma is usually some kind of child sex or something like that, and it's the kind of trauma that's needed to put them into the state that they're in and to be so controllable in running those cities. And that's a scary thing, okay, is that they run these major metropolitan areas, these cults. It is like a cult, and you can see, from what I see from Alex Jones, he's still a freaking meth head. He says, "Oh, no, you wouldn't have brought it up. You're a meth head. You can see it. He's nuts. He's gone." So it's interesting, and of course it's always, a shame when you see people like Jan Irving going down all these, back down some of these shill directions, when he did do a lot of good research. His research is still valid because he did do the citations. It just means, he's like Alex Jones. You got to take the truth throughout everything else, throughout the crazy. Take the truth throughout the crazy. And he'll spit up a lot of stuff. And you really got to research the validity of it, because a lot of the stuff he says is actually true. It's just intentionally said in such a way that nobody will ever believe it. Okay? So, there's the people out there. And the only way that we can get other people to start to learn this stuff and understand it as fact is by getting the research done. That's why it's so important to go back to things like the spiritualist movement and see how, the Illuminati came through the Transcendental movement, through these book clubs, into these corporations, these people that started these corporations, okay? And then they worked with these different mental hospitals and programs, and the Scottish Rite Freemasons funding some of these experimental drug programs and messing up people for mind control and everything else. Because otherwise you're sitting there saying, hey, the Masons got people on mind control. And people are going to look at you like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever, buddy. But you have to be able to, explain it step by step, how these came through, okay, and understand it. Because these certain things took place, like the Kellogg's eugenics family. It's not even questioning that he experimented on women's, whats to drive down their sex drive. And the same with little boys. Okay? And that's talked like, well, it's no big deal. It's just eugenics. We don't want them to be horny or nothing. They might make kids. Oh, here's some cereal while you're at it. Take some of our cereal. No. Don't give your kids Kellogg's. No. Tony Tiger can go kiss my ass, if you know what I mean. Frick that. I ain't touching their shit. But So we'll get into that tomorrow. I just wanted you to hear that because that's going to tie into some of the things that I'm going to lead up to tomorrow. And, it sucks when you have people like him that have good information, okay? And they totally intentionally destroy it with their craziness, okay? They do have solid information. Some of his information is solid. But just spitting it out there like that. Oh, they want to get cult people into the leadership of your town or your city. Okay, well, that sounds kind of crazy. But if you can explain to them the whole process, where it came from, how it came from, what's been going on, it won't be so crazy to people, right? So, as crazy as some of that stuff sounds, and the way he says it, it's actually legitimate. What's crazy is we've been living in these towns, in these cities, with these people leading us. And literally, you might think you did something bad. You might have did something. I'm not somebody that does too many. I don't steal or nothing like that. But there's, let's say you were rude to somebody or something. Or I don't know. What I'm trying to say is these people are the criminals. Okay, that if you had a drug problem in the past, or if you broke some laws in the past, they are nothing compared to what the leaders of your town are doing, okay? The leaders of your town are the ones that are bringing in the drugs, the hardcore drugs. The leaders of your towns are involved in that, okay? And all the other criminal activity, whether it's sex abuse, rape, children, they are the most screwed up ones, It's the most bizarre thing. You might have screwed up in your life, but you need to realize you did nothing like these people did. And they're rewarded. They're rewarded for their behavior. They're getting paid good money for being pedophiles and perverts and drug pushers. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. It's the world we live in. I'd love to see it fixed. How? We're going to pull that off. I guess you're going to have to stay tuned for that.